Hello everyone. Hey, welcome to StampinDreams.com. My name is Lori Mueller and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Lincoln, Nebraska, coming to you on Tuesday, March 16th. And I have a super cute treat package, kind of a food package, something that you can create and stuff. It's called a slider box. And it is super adorable. St. Patty's Day is tomorrow, and I just can't pass it up. I love celebrating the Irish holiday. I do have a little bit of Irish blood in me, thus the little bit of green going on. And I am taking a spin with the bundle called Oval Occasions. It's a stamp set, plus it comes bundled with a dual oval punch. And you can get that out of our mini catalog, our January through June mini catalog. But before I get into all that, there is some amazing news to share with you. Tomorrow only, on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, you can order anything in my online store and have it shipped to you for free. That is free. Minimum shipping normally is $6.95. But if you go above the $70, then it's 10% of your order. So you could save, between $7 plus. And so I suggest that you check your stock, your basic white cardstock, your envelopes, any re-inkers that you might not have for your ink pads. The retiring in colors are going out. The retirement list is going to be coming out soon, and if there's any of those colors, the Terracotta Tile, the Pretty Peacock, any of those that you are in love with, I highly recommend that you stock up on the cardstock. If you've got the ink pad, make certain you have the re-inkers, because that will prolong the use of that ink for many years to come. My re-inkers, unless I'm using them for watercoloring or doing any other techniques that like the diaper wipe that would use more of my re-inker. My re-inkers last a long time to re-ink my ink pads. But the cardstock, when you're making cards, you can start running out of that. Any designer series paper that coordinates with any of those colors, the ribbons, embellishments, any gems, metallic dots or anything like that, you want to make certain that you stock up on those before the retirement list comes out, because I guarantee those are some really pretty colors. They were a favorite, a big favorite. They are not going to last on the shelf for very long. So why not get them for free? Or not, you don't purchase them free, sorry. You'll have them shipped to you for free. But I know I've been making a list of things that I need to stock up on, such as I could have swore I had gold embossing powder. I know I have gold embossing powder, but it's on my my cart. It's in my cart and it's ready for submission tomorrow, that I can have it shipped to me for free. So check your stash. If there's any bundles that you were wanting to get, any card kits, anything that's in my online store, even the clearance rack. If there's items in the clearance rack that you want to get your hands on and stock up on, you can purchase them and have it all shipped to you for free. Now, I know I have several friends that have been looking at the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. That would ship to you for free. That is a savings of 10%. The machine is $125. That is a savings of 10% in shipping costs. So kind of keep that in mind if you're wanting that machine now. Tomorrow is the best day to grab it and get a great deal on it, and then start playing and die cutting and embossing and all that good stuff. So tomorrow only is free shipping. I can't express it, because it very rarely happens that we get free shipping. But the key is you do have to have a minimum order of $50 in order for the qualification of free shipping. So that is the qualification, $50 order or more, then you have it shipped for free. You can't just buy a $5 item or a $25 item. You do have to have a $50 amount of product in your cart in order to have it shipped to you for free. And then if you have coupons for any reason, that will reduce the top figure. So let's say you have $50 in your cart and you had a $5 coupon, that knocks it down to $45, and then you're not eligible for free shipping. So you want to make certain that you compensate the amount of that coupon as well. So, and the reason I mentioned coupons is anybody who had purchased the magnetic plate that went along with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you would have received a voucher that was emailed to you, a voucher code from Stampin' Up, and so use it. But whatever dollar amount that is, just make certain that you keep your end number before shipping and tax above the $50, and then everything will ship to you for free. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I want to make certain that you, I'm not confusing you, that you have everything clear, and yeah, I would love to be able to help you fill up your cart with $50 or more and get that free shipping. So, and then, think about the butterfly bouquet bundle. It's $70 if you were looking at purchasing that. With your purchase that is between today and Monday, you will receive 4 card kits. It'll be 2 each of 2 different designs. So you would get free shipping, you would get free cards to make, but my card kits are focusing around the butterfly bouquet bundle. And so last week's card that I had shared and stamped with you is one of the designs that you would be making. So yeah, you'll get free card kits on top of that. So go to stampinDreams.com, start filling out your cart, and make certain that my name and my face are in the upper left corner of your cart, and use the host code that I have on my work surface to make certain that everything is going to go through clean and with lots of fun. So, all right, I think we are going to start having some stamping fun. Are you ready? I'm so excited. So welcome everybody. So glad to have you here. Again, my name is Lori Mueller from stampinDreams.com. And I'm coming to you on a very super cloudy, drooling, drizzly day. We've had way too much rain, but it has kind of subsided, that the creeks and the rivers are starting to go down just a bit, but it was a little worrisome there for a moment. But so let's get stamping. All right, so what I have pictured here is the butterfly bouquet. And if you have not gotten the whole suite of products, this suite right here, stamp set, the papers, the dies, the natural birch paper as well, it's a $71 item. You can have it shipped to you for free. So don't miss out on that. Now, the one thing that I want to point out is this butterfly bijou paper, the 6x6 paper, is limited time. It's only available for a certain amount of time. So if you want to get your hands on all of this beautiful 48 sheets of designer series paper, you want to get your hands on that and have it shipped to you for free. So put it in your cart for tomorrow. And then this is one of the cards that you'll get to create with your order through my online store. So, all right, let's get started. We are going to play with the Oval Occasions stamp set, and it does come bundled, or you can buy them separately if you want, but you save 10% when you bundle them with this dual oval punch. It's not really a scallop. Let's see if I can do this without a whole lot of glare. But it has like these waves around it. It's not a true scallop, but it's really kind of, let me see if I can, see if you can see that. And then a straight oval that nests into that one. You can use them individually, you can nest them together, or however you like. But I am focusing on this stamp set and primarily this particular saying, "So lucky to know you." Lucky is an Irish saying, or it's a lot of times associated with St. Patty's Day. And I just thought this would be super cute to make a slider that I'm going to share with you today. So let's set this aside and let me pull in my little box. And I'm using the Designer Series paper, Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper. It's this one right here. And we're going to focus on the daisies mainly because of the bumblebee color. When I was doing some searching online for the colors for St. Patty's, outside of green, this terracotta tile was a big image. It was a constant color that I had seen along with the yellow tone. And I thought, how cool is this? Because I came across mason jars that were painted. It had more of the shaded spruce on top. It had a white strip in the middle, and then it had this terracotta tile at the bottom. And so that's where I got my inspiration, was from a painted mason jar that then was filled with some white flowers and then kind of rustic. I had a little sanding on the word mason to give it a little rustic vintage look. But I'm using the ribbons from the Forever Fern. It comes with this really nice linen, very vanilla linen ribbon, and then also this gold metallic linen type of thread per se. And I, created this box out of shaded spruce. The terracotta layer right here, the top one, was embossed with the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. This one right here. I just love, love, love that folder. And it was just enough texture without becoming overbearing with my flowers. And it does wrap all the way around, and then I have my little tag. Now my tag is using the Layering Ovals dies. Now granted, this came from the punch. I used my markers, my Stampin' Write markers, the basic black terracotta tile and the shaded spruce, to ink up my sentiment right here. And then I used the bumblebee marker to color in the extra floral to kind of coordinate with the daisies there. Now you may be wondering, you can get this set of in color markers or this set of in color markers. They're $15 each, but you want to add them to your cart and have them shipped for free, because the terracotta tile is part of this bundle. The Seaside Spray, the Rococo Rose, and then, oh my gosh, the purple has escaped me. But this is the set of in colors that are retiring. So you really want to make certain that if you want everything that coordinates together, you want to make certain that you get these markers, okay? And they're nice to color in images outside of, an all one color type of stamping of any sentiments. I love mixing and matching my sentiment colors. Now the fun part is inside. Are you ready? I'm so excited. I found these snowballs. They are chocolate cakes that are surrounded with like a coconut marshmallow coating. Basically like another brand of, you know, something similar that are usually white, but I found these green ones, and then it has like a leprechaun hat up here with some leprechauns, and it's just a slider. And I'll show you how this all works. And you just slide it back in there, and yeah, just looks like that. Super cute. And my tag is loose. I didn't fix it with any Stampin' Dimensionals or anything like that, and just made some really cute banner ends to coordinate with the colors there. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so we have our pieces right in here, but let me show you how I start my projects. I always take a piece of scrap paper. So you know, it's an old flyer that I had printed, and this is my mock-up that I use so that I'm not wasting and, you know, accidentally making a boo-boo on any measurements. So my piece here measures 10.5 by 8.5. So basically I just cut off a 1/2 inch on one end, and then I scored it at 1.5, 4.5, 6 inch, and 9 inch. All right, so that's on the short end, and then the long end I scored at 1.5 all the way down. All right, and then when I buffered it with my bone folder, I did cut up from the bottom to the score line there, and that's how I made my box. And just a little slider there. So I didn't worry about having anything for the top. I just want to have something to hold in for the bottom. So that's how I start when I'm trying to measure a component that I want to wrap. So I just use this as my guide on my scoring tool and went with that. So, all right, so I have my shaded spruce that I had given the measurements 10.5 by 8.5. I have a piece of the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper, and it measures 9.5 by 4. And then I have 2 pieces of the Terracotta Tile that also measure 9.5, but this one is 1 inch and this one is 1/2 inch. And we're going to be embossing that piece. I already pre-die cut my oval, and then I have some scrap piece of shaded spruce and terracotta tile for the banner that we're going to be putting on there. And then I have a piece of our basic white cardstock that we'll be stamping and then punching our oval out of. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is to create our box, and we do that with the Simply Scored tool. And I'm going to do the long end first. Move my box up there, and I'm going to score it at 1.5 right there, and then I'm going to flip it to the short side, and looking at my measurements again, 1.5, 4.5, 6, and 9. So I need 1.5, 4.5, 6, and 9. Whoops, like that. And we're done with that one. Now what we are going to do is to fold and burnish all of our ends. So I'm going to come up the bottom side, and I'm going to give a nice burnish, and then I'm going to start folding in at each of the other score lines. And I like to make certain that my end points are even, just so I don't burnish them crooked or anything like that. Like that. And one more. There we go. All right, so we have all of our score lines burnished. Next, we're going to cut up from the bottom to our 1.5 inch score line, right up to that point. And just like that. Now you can cut off one of these tails. I chose not to, just because, you know, it's not hurting anything. It's actually an extra stable component for the bottom of the box. But I do want to make certain that I have both of my seams, the side and the bottom, going on the same direction versus having my seam here and then in front. I want a nice clean front. So I want to make certain that I do that. But first I want to, now you can use tear and tape, or I'm going to use my trusty liquid glue. And I do want to get to the edge of this one, and I want to make certain that I get to the edge of this side, just so that there's some nice secure connection between the two. And put them together like this. And liquid glue allows you to move it around. And now if you wanted, you could, you know, make certain that it all fits nicely that direction. All right, now my seam is back here, so I'm going to put those down, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive in there. Don't need a whole lot. Put that down, and then I want to make certain this seam comes to the back and flows with the side seam, like that. See how I got it? So I got my seam, and then it'll be nice and clean. And then if you have something long, you can add a little pressure down in there. Let's see. I got a ruler here, so I'm gonna kind of put a little pressure down in there, like that. All right, so we're good with that. Next, I want to dry emboss our terracotta piece right here. So we're going to use our embossing folder, Dainty Diamonds, and we're going to run this through twice because of the length of our cardstock is longer than this, so we're going to have to run it through the embossing machine twice. All right, so I'll bring this up. And I don't need plates 2 and 3. I don't need those because of the thickness. It's a 3D embossing folder. So I only need my embossing folder and my texture plate, the plate number 4. And there are lines in here, so I want to make certain that I am staying straight. And I'll kind of, because otherwise it will show if I have any crooked ends. All right, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to lay my plate number 4 over top, and I'm going to run it through. Now to do the other end of this, I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to line up one of these stars, or both of these stars actually, with one that's close to the bottom. And you just kind of feel your way around until it kind of snaps in, per se. That way I know I have a nice clean run-on of my embossing folder. Now some patterns, there's no need to worry about this, but because I do have some geometric shapes in there, straight edges and lines, I do want to make certain that I have a nice clean flow of this particular pattern. So, all right, on that. And then this is what it looks like. So we have a nice, has a little bit of a burp, but that's because it was the end of the embossing folder, but it's very, very subtle compared to you know, what it could be if I didn't line, you know, my stars. So I have a straight line of stars, if you can see what I was trying to get at. And versus this is my second time around, I could have had this row of stars here and then this one up here. So it would have had a little bit of a jog and might have been kind of noticeable. All right, so we can remove this part. Oh. So next up, I want to bring in my designer series paper, and I'm going to get that lined up. I think I'm gonna do this side, and that will be the bottom. And I'm using my liquid glue to give it a nice healthy flow of adhesive for the top. And I'm just eyeballing. I'm probably going up anywhere between 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch on either side. Then I know it's even. Oh, there we go. Because I want a good chunk of it. Oh, wow. Golly gee whiz, maybe I'll give it a good 1/4 inch. There we go. Make certain I don't. There we go. And then I just check my ends to make certain they're all nice and even. And then you can choose your pattern. See how this one's more flat. It doesn't have all the raised components that this one does. So that one would have been pretty too. But it looks pretty with the gold embossing on the back of this designer paper. All right, next I'm going to adhere the bottom trim. And the reason I didn't go with a full sheet of terracotta tile, you know, that would have been a whole piece, is because of the bulk. I don't want all of that bulk, and because otherwise it makes it really hard to wrap around the box when you have so many thick layers. Here I'm kind of dispersing it a little bit more evenly, and it's less congested, I guess. But it won't be near as hard to wrap around my box. And just make certain my ends are nice and even. All right. Now, here is the tricky part. You would think that you would want to line up your trim, the designer series paper, and use the same score marks that I did for the box. But in reality, because this is another layer added on top, it, you know, kind of gives a fanned look. It really does not line up as evenly. You have to have an extra hair of a score line here. So what I did is I did do my first one at 1 1/4. Now granted, my seam lines are not even here, so what I'm going to do is do it all by hand instead of using my scoring tool to give me my starting point. I probably could, instead of 1 1/2, I could probably go 1 5/8. That might be the key. Let's try that. And if it's not right, I can I can change it. All right, my scoring. So instead of 1 1/2, I'm going to go 1 extra 1/8 of an inch right here. And that will be my starting point. All right. Do that. And I'm going to give it a nice burnish so I have some good edging to help give some stability to it. So, perfect. See how that worked? you need that extra 1/8 of an inch almost. Now the rest of it I am going to kind of burnish by hand. And to help me get some stability in my box, I'm going to use that as some solid and just kind of mold it around that direction. And then I have the last of it will be, whoops, like that. And then I can come back and actually give it some true burnishing with my bone folder. This way I know that my score lines are all true to the form around my box. Whoops. And then my last piece. There we go. Now, let's see how I did. That, and that. And voila! See, now I got a nice even line on that side. That's what I was looking for. I'm going to, I don't have to put adhesive on everything, but I am going to put it on the widest portions of my designer series paper so it doesn't kind of flap out. I'll just put it here, and then I do want to make certain. Now, there's my seam, and I'm going to get that and that. And look how evenly that came out. Just like that. And I'll give it some nice little burnish on these ends. Because otherwise there would be like a little gap here that, there we go. Voila! Yay, yay, yay. Okay, that worked out perfect. So now, what I want to do is give myself an even placement of my punch. I need to punch some holes in here before I start assembling everything else. And I'm going with an even 1.5. So I'm going to mark it right there. And I'm going to give it a slight pinch. I don't want to bend any of these pieces, but I'm going to bend it in a little bit and punch where I marked it, like that, because that's where my slider ribbon is going to go in. And how that works, I need this piece, and I'm going to bring in my Forever Fern, that ribbon, and so this can be a little bit of trick that I want to come in from, let's see, how did I do that? So I want to thread it through this one first, and then I'll give it a nice big area to add my slider, and then I'm going to feed this through the back side like that. Give it some flat area. Now I'm going to see how I did that. I just went straight across. Now I'm going to add my cupcakes. Make certain now I didn't give enough ribbon, so I'm going to bring this out and I'm going to steal some of this ribbon back here, and we're going to start over, and then it'll thread from my spool. See how it's stealing it from there? Like that. Yay! Okay, all right. Now all I need to do is tie me a bow. I make certain I have enough in there. Is it not? There we go. Make a nice pretty bow. Whoops. Rearrange it. There we go. All right, now I'm going to give it a little bit of a haircut here, and I'm just going straight across. Get rid of that little strand there, and there we go. Now we can dress up the rest of the box, and I pulled in the gold that comes with that bundle, and I wanted to kind of hide the seam where the designer series paper and the terracotta tile meets, and I just went around it 3 times, and I'm going to tie it in a knot because I want to add a little bit of fullness to my bow, and I can't do that with this little bit of twine. It's really fine and doesn't give me enough bulk that I'm looking for. All right, so I'll trim this off, give myself a little. Next, it's time to dress up our tag. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for now, and let's do our stamping of our sentiment. And we need our sentiment. So lucky to know you. Now, the easiest way to do this is with the markers, all right? Because our ink pads are too bulky. It doesn't allow you to fine-tune all of the coloring of each of these raised parts of our stamped image. And I'm using black, basic black, for the 2 images that I'm going to color in with my bumblebee, because I wanted to give them a true outline of their image. And now you can tell that this is one of my original basic black markers, because it does not have all of these little guides as far as what side is the thick and which one is the pen writing. That band is not there. The logo has been changed a little bit, although I do have this designation for my marker, but I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 12 years, and I know that was one of my original markers that I had gotten, and I can't mention enough how long these markers will last. And the key to longevity of your markers is to make certain that you store them flat, not up and down in a can or a coffee cup or anything. You have to leave them stored flat, because that way the ink flow is going to maintain evenness between both ends. All right, so that was my shaded spruce. Now I'm going to ink up my terracotta tile words. Now, in hindsight, there are 2 different fonts on this image, and the Lucky and You are the same font, and then the rest of it is all the other font. And if you wanted to really coordinate your marker colors with your sentiment fonts, then my U would have been my shaded spruce color, but I didn't do that. So I've colored my image using my markers. And now I'm going to give it a nice little huff to kind of rejuvenate the ink moisture. And I'm going to just center it in here on my basic white. Give it a little pressure. And there you go. Isn't that fun? Oh, I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things, just so that my sentiment is not boring by any means. I love, love, love to kind of mix things up a bit. All right, so I'm going to punch that out like that using my double oval punch. And then I'm going to color in my flowers. Now I am going to be careful and not touch, or try not to touch very often, the Memento ink, or my basic black ink actually. I use basic black because I don't want my image to get muddied up. These are classic ink, which they're water soluble, and if I were to color over top of the black with a lighter color, you will start bleeding and muddying up your image. So you want to be careful that you don't touch it too often. All right, and coloring in the leaves with shaded spruce, like that. And then I chose to do these little antennas with Terracotta Tile. Now don't forget, Terracotta Tile is one of the retiring in colors. So if you really like that color, you want to make certain that you don't miss out. All right, so next is banner cutting my little banners. And I love using the tailored tag punch, but this piece is a little short to get my hands in there. So I have these little post-it flags. Works great. I use a post-it flag, put that on the end, and then I have like these little extension arms and fingers that won't get punched, but they help me get my result that I want. I'm shaking. Okay, there, like that. And then I just do the same thing with this one. Just put it in there, like that. So look at your punches and see if there's something outside the box that you can do with it, like that. Love it. And then you can, you know, these post-it flags, they last quite a while, so you can peel and unpeel several different times. All right, so now I'm going to just throw on a little glue dot in here to position right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and we'll add some liquid glue here. And put that in there. All right. Next, I want to pot this up with some dimensionals. And like that. Okay, now I'm going to set this in place. I'm going to use my tweezers because my hands are a little, they're full. So I'm going to position this here. And now I'm going to add a little punch because we want to add this to our box. And to do that, I like to use an old trick of mine. Not of mine, a friend of mine actually gave me this little trick. These are little floss threaders for anybody who's had braces, and it helps to thread this through. Oh, well, it's a little slip. Okay. Ah, come on. Like that. All right. So that's a nice little trick that a friend of mine gave to me. Hang on to those. And then I'm going to tie this here because I will be adding my additional bow. So I'm going to do that. Okay, like that. Now to make my additional bow, I just took a piece of my thread and gave it a double layer. And I'm going to make a double bow just like this. Let's see, I think I might be going heavy. Let's try this. There we go. Pull that down. Wonderful. All right, now cut that. We'll trim that. And then all I have to do is set this in place with a glue dot. And I did fold it in half to reduce the bulk on there. And we'll set that just like that on there. And we'll give these a little haircut like that. And there we have it. Our second, oh, no, we're not done. We need to glam it up with some of our gold glitter dots. And we're going to use one of the, I love that these come in so many different sizes, but we're going to use that one. And then we're going to go with the bigger ones right here. Put one right across that diamond there. And one over here in the flowers. And now we are done. There we go. Isn't that cute? I love, 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 love. And then, you know, you've got your fun little treat inside. Peekaboo. You slide it back in. Like that. And it's a very tasty treat. I haven't quite tried it yet, but I guarantee you I will be trying it here shortly. So, all right. What do you think? It's so cute, right? So I hope this has inspired you to want to do something for St. Patrick's Day. Super quick, very easy. I'll post all the measurements here on this post and make it super easy for you to recreate using the designer series paper and cardstocks of your choice. And this can be for any occasion. It can be baby showers, it can be weddings, it can be, you know, just because type of thing. So have fun with it. But until then, don't forget, tomorrow is free shipping all day long. So if you want to place multiple orders, it's free shipping all day long on St. Patrick's Day only. So until then, have a great day, and I will visit with you later. Bye.